Nesivas Chinuch, written by Nesivas Shalom. Listen to what he says. By Yaakov it says, V'yishtachavu sheva pa'amim ad gishtoi ad achiv. Yaakov Avinu bowed 7 times until he reached ad gishtoi, until he reached ad achiv, until his brother. Shegam Eitzel Esav Harasha. Even by Esav Harasha, and we're not talking about Esav Harashas over here. And we say we're not talking about healthy Esavs, we're talking about sick Yaakovs. Shegam Eitzel Esav Harasha. Hoysa b'mamakim nekuda pnimis shahaya ba achiv shel Yaakov. Even with all of the story and the exterior and all this stuff, right? Inside, deep inside, there was a point of inside of him that ad gishtei ad achiv. There was an achiv. There was a brotherly love that still there was a spark that was inside of Esav. But what should you do? 7 klipos, 7 layers of shells, peels, blocking, walls, blocking. How many spheres are there? 7. How many different klipos? Who knows, right? 7 klipos, there were 7 walls that were blocking this nekuda hazois. So when you looked at Esav, you saw a guy with 400 armed men who could have slaughtered Yaakov in cold blood and his wives and children. But deep, deep inside, right, he's trapped. A little bit on a kuda pnimis that he did care for his brother. His farta brother, right? At the end of the day, they're brothers, right? They shared a womb together, right? You ever have a guy in yeshiva you shared a room with? Imagine, they were roommates. Very good. Uvesheva hashtachavoy shel Yaakov. What does it say? V'yishtachavu sheva pa'amim. Each time, with the 7 times that Yaakov bowed down, hichnia es kol sheva haklipos. He was machnia. He subdued the 7 klipos. V'higia ad achiv. Hainu lenekudas ha'achva. He reached his brother. He v'yishtachavu sheva pa'amim. Each time he bowed down, another exterior wall that was blocking him just fell away. Ad gishtoi, until he reached ad achiv. He reached that brotherly love. Nekudas ha'achva shebai. Umiyad, and what happens as soon as he reached that? Nichna Esav. Esav became subdued. Veichabkeu, veishakeu. He hugged him and he kissed him. What other method can turn an Esav into somebody who's going to come and hug you and embrace you? And as we know, by Shakeu, at that moment, he loved him. What do we do when we see somebody surrounded with walls of pain and trauma and abuse? You yell at them, more walls come up. We create our own enemies. They swear, I'm going to take down this religion because we're hitting them in the name of religion. If you were not religious, you would be closer to your child. Is that true? Then your religion is disgusting. I don't subscribe to that religion. That's not our religion. You're using your religion to make your child feel, to put up walls, to make the child feel that they're disgusting. Where'd you get that from? Show me one maramakim. We have to bow. People say, whoa, what are you doing? There should be rules and consequences and boundaries. There are walls around that are blocking the nekuda of achva, the nekuda of love to us, to everything we hold dear. We bow. Anachnu ma. Nachi afer ve'efer. We're tati and mami, you don't have to be scared of us. We're not going to push you around anymore. You don't have to be here living under the regime. We get it. We have to be mevater. We have to use our good midas to be a kale, rachom, chanon, erech apayim. We have to use yud gimel midas arachmim. There's no shul, there's no davening. Under your Rav. We're not scared of das Torah. We only work with das Torah. Be comfortable. This is your home. And we have to bow. What are you bowing to the kid? No. You're bowing to the klipa, to make that klipa crumble. Yaakov Avinu loy meis. Anybody here as holy as Yaakov? He was willing to bow because his life depended on it. And you're willing to bow because your kid's life depends on it. You have to bow. You have to go out of your comfort zone. You look around the room and you see people doing it, right? I'm not going to point fingers, and they're enjoying it even. What are we asking you to do? Party with your kids, have fun, spoil them. Don't worry about that they'll be spoiled. They'll be alive, and if we're matzliach, and everything is wonderful, and they'll be spoiled, we'll deal with that. I was speaking to a guy, and he tells me, can't spoil his kid. I have to talk to him now about the value of money, and I have to explain to him, you don't just leave stuff out. Someone made supper and you just leave it out to spoil. He has to teach him and teach him and teach him and teach him and teach him. He has a lot of lessons to teach this kid. He said, first of all, I'm not going to get into the 48 hours and the 82 hours and the 7 million hours of TP. But let me just ask you a question. Didn't he know this when he was 10 years old? So you think he's forgetful? He has Alzheimer's? Now, there happens to be while he's rebelling, and he also is dealing with an eating disorder, and also is depressed, and also is losing, and and now you think you forgot everything? So don't you realize there's something else going on here? Your job is not to be mechanechim. You already were mechanechim. He knew how to do it when he was 10. Second of all, I'll tell you what. You're right. Give me a list of everything you want to teach him. We will teach it to him as soon as he doesn't want to die. Right now, you have to teach it to him while the kid is not successful? You worried he'll be spoiled. We'll deal with that. We'll figure out how to teach the value of $1 when they don't want to die, when they're home and they're happy, and then you realize you don't need to. The whole thing is shtusim. The whole thing is shtusim v'avolim. The whole thing is ridiculous. People who don't do this, so they think, but we've done this hundreds of times, and you look at the end, and the parents tell you constantly they're not spoiled. Okay, but if you're scared they'll be spoiled, you'll want to teach them the value, fine. But not when they're sick, not when they're not successful, not when they're struggling to stay above water, and now I have to teach you very important lessons. You have to be on a budget. No, that's for healthy people. So I saw this, I couldn't believe it. How many times we bow. Ad gishta, you're going to reach the pnimis that you should be able to be, like you said, close relationship, the way she hugged you. A kid who doesn't touch father and mother, it's usually trauma. You have to undo that. There's no therapy in the world that is going to make her be able to touch you. You have to do that. You have to become a safe person. You have to look at her and him and think of them with the right way. You have to read the manual as if it's this is your life. This is Kiyem Chayenu Barachimenu right now if you have a sick kid. Because it makes a difference. I'm not going to say it because we're on video, but she just said his NKN when you came here with your child was minus 100. And now it's, how long are you, 6 months? 8 months? Nothing, 6 months. And your NKN is through the roof. And isn't it interesting that now your kid is so much healthier and happier? What a coincidence. Which therapy, even if it existed, could do it that fast? Which therapy can make a child feel her arms of her mother and her father? Okay, now I have to give fathers a little musar. Some fathers who can't hug their children need to go for help. Yaakov Avinu hugged his children and kissed his children. Yitzchak hugged Yaakov. Avram hugged and kissed Yitzchak. It's not a Jewish thing. If you can't hug your children, something's wrong in your brain. And you have to go for therapy, especially now your kid is floating away and the doctor tells you, Dr. Avi says, the only thing that's going to help is love. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I only know how to criticize. I feel bad for you. You grew up probably traumatized by a Holocaust parent. I hear you. But now you're going to learn how to be a mensch. Now you're going to get new skills. I'm not going to embarrass you, but you're my hero. He didn't hug his kid, which is very sick, but you realized it. And I have a video, we could play it afterwards, of his first hug for his child. It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. You have to be so strong. He went ahead and he hugged his child. And I put it in slow motion with music. Da, 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 da. Should I play it? Maybe if he's okay. No. With music, right? And then afterwards, you texted me a few months later. We even hugged for no reason. He left for work and he hugs. Congratulations, you're human. Sorry, you deserve better than that. You're human. You got to hug your kids. You got to love your kids. You got to put your arms around them. TP hug. No touching and moving. Okay? And just, it's an embrace. And don't let go first. And number 3, after you feel that they're letting go, you let go and you give a little squeeze. That's our whole medicine. And I'm not saying this because I was Mr. Shlomo Kalbach Nachman from Breslov guy with a ponytail, and I was born in the 60s, love, love, love. I didn't grow up with this. But I'm telling you, this is what, I sat with them for years, and I saw the Nebuch, all they want is love. That's all they want. Acceptance. Don't judge me. Don't look down at me. Embrace me. Let me feel the vibe that everybody thinks I'm a good person. And we take our weakest kids and we give them those eyes and we push them into the ground. And every day, Rahmana Litzlan, that we live in this dar, every day parents just like you are burying their children from overdose and suicide. And they're good. And they're good, but they got bad advice. Very important to have rules, bedtime, consequences, boundaries, rules, consequences, boundaries. Who's giving this advice? Why don't they stop giving it when they realize how many kids are dying? Literally dying. Rahmana litzlan. And Baruch Hashem, we're doing good. We're doing really good. If I may say so myself. Kein Yerba. Says the Nesivas Shalom, V'im eitzel Esav kacha, kal v'chomer eitzel yeled Yehudi kosher. How much more so does it apply? Esav was not a Jew. No, Esav was not a Jew. Do you know that? Ki b'yitzchak yikar l'cha zera. Hashem said he's not included in Klal Yisrael. And he wasn't by Har Sinai. All of us and all of our kids and neshamas were in Har Sinai. They're all Jewish. Kal v'chomer eitzel yeled Yehudi kosher. Shenishmasoi mitachas l'kisei hakavod chutzvah. A holy Jewish kid that his neshama, every yid is a chelik l'kam imal. Mamish. And his neshama is carved out of the kisei hakavod. Asher gam im klipa kashem akifasai. Even if they have a very difficult klipa, a wall that is around them, al hamachanich, it's up to the educator, parents who are also educators, limtzayis haderech, to find the way, eich lachter lipnimiyas nafshay. You have to find a way how to lachter. How do you say lachter? Dig. How to get there, to get to that pnimiyas nafshay. Don't say, he's this, and that's the end of the sentence. He's this, and this, and now what are we going to do about it? And it only comes through hachna. It only comes from anava. It only comes through doing exactly what Yaakov did, to reveal the pnimis inside every yid and every problem. Those who are loud and angry, there's something inside of them that's broken. We can't challenge them and fight them and scream at them and yell at them. You create monsters. And what you're doing is you're revealing the Zizkeit, right? Zizkeit. I think that if we did a poll, right, that most parents, TP parents, compared to the ones out there, would say Zizkeit. When you feel your kid is a Zizkeit, I've done my job. What happened to monster? Ruining our lives. I wish she'd drop dead, some Nebuch people say. I don't blame them for having those feelings, because it's when you're going head to head all the time, you feel like you're just ripping your heart out, and then she did this and they did that. Once you realize this kid is a sweetie pie, then that's the medicine. And they know that that's the way you feel. They feel that. And then you make NKN. And then once you have NKN, you use it to uplift them and put fun into their lives. Fun. You have to put more light and fun than the darkness and pain and depression. That's what it is. It's a seesaw. And no therapist can do that. No therapist can take your kid to Disneyland or to, where were you? Bermuda, Bahamas, Aruba, Jamaica. You did the whole song. Hawaii, everywhere. But your kids are happy. Your kids are smiling. I just want to tell you, that picture that you sent me, I'm on video, I'm not going to say the name, of your daughter, the original Kip that you came here, the oldest one. She's a different kid. How could Avi know how to help kids if he never meets the kids? I know your kids. I see it. Am I right? There's a gentleness. It's like you removed the like I don't want to compare it to Esav, that roughness, you melted the walls around her. And then all of a sudden, we don't have crisis as much, and then all of a sudden, they feel calmer, and then you're calmer, and then you realize, she's a nice girl, right? I'm not so upset that God gave me this kid. Yeah, I wish I had one of the regular ones, that just function properly. But okay, it's pleasant experience. And then we have fun and fun and fun and fun. If you can't have fun with your own kid, I can't help you. You need therapy, right? I tell people, got to have fun. And some parents are like, what? I don't have to sit in the hospital and eat bikur cholim food. I don't have to go to the psychiatrist and I just have to have fun with my kid. Wow, that's great. And other people are like, pale. I have to what? I can't take off work. I can't take off my daf yomi. I don't like traveling. We had a father didn't want to take his kid to save her life. By the way, this is our medicine and it's working. And I said, prescription, right? You're got to save your kid. She just went through a breakup. She's suicidal, whatever. I can't travel. Not because I don't like wearing a mask on an airplane. I'm like, are you mentally ill? You're retarded. I can't talk like that because I have to be nice to everybody. Stupid job I have. I say, I understand your pain. Or maybe I'll buy him buy him an iPad. I don't know. He can't be uncomfortable. So his kids could die because I can't wear a mask during the flight. So I told him, I'll sell you the mask. I'll give you the mask. I bought a bunch of them. The one that I have, that's a fake mask, not even a mask. Oh, yeah? Okay. I said, but really, we were talking about traveling a few hours. You wouldn't make yourself uncomfortable? It's not just uncomfortable. It's a shita. I'm like, your kid's dying. Anyway, have fun with your kids. And the power of fun, look at the power of fun. Changes them from negative to positive. Instead of looking down, I want to die, I want to check out, I want to get out of here, they're looking up. Life's good. I have a future.